Hi everyone, it's Roger here from What's on Disney Plus with our weekly live Q&A. So it's obviously Halloween weekend this weekend, and because of that, I decided to open this one up to everybody. So everyone is, as long as you are a subscriber of this channel, you will be able to submit your questions in the live chat. We're going to be doing this for about an hour or so. So hopefully everyone can hear me. I can see we've got Matt, we've got Bubba Trolling, we've got Noxwave, we've also got CJ, we've got Michael. We've got Blocks videos, we've got a whole host of people. So thank you so much for joining in. So I have had some questions already sent in advance from our Patreon and our YouTube channel members. So obviously they will get priority as per normal. But I'm going to be trying to answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. And as I said, it's something I want to be doing a little bit more regularly, at least once a month, where I'll be trying to do an open Q&A. Timing-wise is a little bit different today because the UK... our clocks changed last night, but the US, they don't change for 2 weeks. So there's that. You can also use the super chat function as well to send in your questions as well. So obviously they will go to the top of the queue. But obviously I might not be able to answer everyone's questions depending on how many we've got. But let's jump into it. So we've got lots of ones jumping in all in there. But let's start off with some of our pre-done questions. I always like to start with the one that is the title. So Manmoud says, do you think Disney is using the Mysterious Benedict Society as a test for next day releases of the Disney Channel and National Geographic content in the future? So this is something that's we've noticed this week. Disney are putting out the Mysterious Benedict Society on Disney Plus on Wednesdays. They're also then putting it out on the Disney Channel the night before, kind of essentially turning Disney Plus into next day in the US for the show. Unfortunately, I do think that this has caused a problem for people in Canada where you've not now got the Mysterious Benedict Society due to maybe some rules that they've got in place. I've reached out for comment, haven't yet heard back on that one. But whether or not this is like a test, I think like they've been trying things out a little bit with National Geographic over the summer. They have been trying out some different schedules. I feel like with the Mysterious Benedict Society, putting it on the Disney Channel first is probably going to help try and get just more audience, more people into it, and Disney get some more value out of it because it's not just a Disney Plus show. And I think we are going to see more of this. I think in general, Disney Plus needs to, and Disney, they need to sort out what they're doing with their Disney Channel stuff. Now, they say next day. Now, I personally don't actually think it should be next day. I think it would be a lot simpler if you had same day and you either upload it at the same time that it goes out on the Disney Channel in the US, or you just put it up on Disney Plus first in the morning when it normally updates, and those that are on cable can watch it later. Because I do feel like, you know, if you're on a cable, you should be able to enjoy some stuff. You're paying for it ultimately, so you should be able to have access. I think we need to move away really from the idea of, or maybe now we should look at both. And I do feel like, you know, especially with some of the Disney stuff, put it out on both. You know, put it out. And if you did the same day, it's then easy. You can just say it was out on this day, rather than always doing the Hulu thing where they go and the next day. Like, why does that have to be the next day? I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments. Let's see what we've got. So Noxwave says, when I was about to watch the Mysterious Benedict Society season 2, the Disney Plus logo has been removed. The original text, like how they did with Love Victor. It makes sense because essentially it's not being released directly onto Disney Plus, so it's not classed as an original. It's even on Disney now, so that's definitely an interesting thing with this show. And as Mullen said, I like Disney Junior, Disney XD, and the Disney Channel. Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, if you've got cable or something like that, why not have it on there? That's definitely something to be kicking in. Okay, let's jump into the next question. We've got about a dozen of these pre-done questions that we're going to run through before we kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of all the live stuff. So, Tim says, what are your thoughts on the Santa Clauses on the official trailer? I thought it was really good. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the Santa Claus trailer. I liked it. It looks a lot of fun. I think now we've got an idea of where this story's going. We can see now there's some peril. As we said on the podcast yesterday, it's a little bit stereotypical with the idea that he's going to have to go back and rescue Santa rescue Christmas because the new Santa's not very good at it, or was trying to kill Christmas. That's not good. I mean, I kind of feel like we've done that on too many times. So I'm kind of glad that we're trying something. Maybe we would have liked a little bit longer for him to be in the mainland. But it's 6 episodes long. So they're going to stretch it out somehow. So it's definitely a way to go in on that one. All right, let's also have a look here and see what the next question is. Mammoud says, what are your predictions when it comes to announcements Disney will do at the upcoming quarterly earnings call this November? So this is coming up, I think, in about a week's time. Obviously, they're going to go over, I think, The Philippines launch coming up later this month. Maybe as well announce some new countries, maybe that are coming in line that they've not already announced. That might be a good way of doing it. More details on the ad tier of what's coming in. If they were to announce anything about general entertainment, that would be a good time to do it. Unless they're going to be announcing like an investors day, which might happen before the before the ad tier comes in. I wouldn't expect another investors day like 2020. Think more of it along the lines of like maybe like 2019 or 2018, where it's just more about the tech side rather than it being about content. So that's my predictions. We'll have an update on how many. I don't think we're going to have too much stuff in terms of like an announcement of buying out Hulu. I don't think that's going to be coming anytime soon. But I mean, I'd love them to just kind of rev up the general entertainment. That would be a really good announcement if they could do that for the ad tier. And that is what I'd love them to do. That would be the best thing for them to do then. Mouth says, do you think people on the internet took Bob Chapek's comments on animation out of context? I don't think he meant to be downgrade animation, but want to explain that Disney Plus in the US needs general entertainment. There was a second question from Khalid on this saying, what were your thoughts on Chapek's interview with the Wall Street Journal the other day? Do you feel he needs a better PR spokesperson since folk are still mad at him over his choice of words? So if you aren't familiar, Bob Chapek did an interview with Wall Street Journal. It was like a Q&A. It was about 45 minutes long. And during the interview, he said about the fact that, if you've been watching like animation movies like Dumbo and like Pinocchio all day, that when you put your kids to bed, you want to watch some other stuff that's not animation. And he kind of talked about that. And then mainly just talking about, essentially watching other shows like here in the UK on Disney Plus, we have like Grey's Anatomy, Family Guy, Kardashians, all kinds of stuff. And then it kind of carried on. And to be honest, I was watching it and I was like, yeah, it makes total sense what he's saying. He's not wrong on that. And then I went onto Twitter and it's all blown up all over the place because like a load of places have put like he's besmirching like animation and people are getting really upset. And it's like, well, we did in the context of the conversation, it wasn't about that one. Now, whether or not he could have worded it better, he probably could have done. But I think again, it's like now with me doing this conversation with you guys. I'm live, I'm having a conversation. I might have, when we do the podcast, you can say stuff and you're not necessarily thinking ahead and having a script and everything going in line. So whether or not he has a better PR person, I think he probably needs to. He does tend to stick on a lot of points that he tends to repeat himself on. He's done this in the past, this whole thing about general entertainment. He talks about it. But in reality, here we are nearly a year later and very little has actually changed. We've had a handful of titles in the US and that's it. We really haven't really moved on as much as I thought we might have done. Khaled says, I feel like Twitter has an irrational hatred of Chapek since Iger must have done a spectacular job as CEO that anyone has succeeded in has a much bad test. And he says that with that said, Chapek isn't as bad as Elon Musk. I definitely feel like he did get the misinterpretation. I feel like Chapek, he does have a really bad reputation, and he has a really bad reputation because he was a leader of the parks division for 7 years, and he has done stuff which obviously has annoyed a lot of people. Putting the prices up, taking stuff away from the parks, taking stuff away from the hotels, and I think a lot of it is right. I do think there's been a lot of stuff that he's done that has not been good, and is not good in the long run, and has devalued staying on site when you're at the parks. And in general, he has made some real goofballs with his PR stuff, and he really does need to be a lot better at it. I do feel he did get a really bad stick because he literally got thrown Disney like a week before the pandemic hit, and he had to get Disney through the pandemic, and he had to make some serious cuts, some serious choices, and being a leader of a major company, he had to make some serious decisions that no other CEO has ever had to do. But now we're kind of into that, we're coming out the other side of it. He's got to step up. He's got to, and I feel like there was definitely a thing that they've got to have to work on it. I think they do need to put things back in. I mean, personally, there's certain things that like at the theme parks, I feel they should be put back in, like not charging you for car park. I hate doing that. Genie Plus, I'm kind of for and against it. I don't like the idea that we all have to pay for it. But I actually think the Genie Plus system is better than having to plan your fast passes 2 months in advance. I actually prefer that system, where you do it there and then. with regards to like reservations, I don't really think we should have that. I think that's unnecessary. Oh, sorry, I think that's unnecessary. And just general, it's just got it was so expensive. Right. Let's see here what we've got else. Here we go. Let's see what other ones we've got, and then we're going to be live on the live Q&A. So Matt says, what country has the most content on Disney Plus? So a quick look at the minute, it looks like Disney Plus Hotstar in India has the largest amount of content, just under 4,000 titles currently available. And when I just looked on Just Watch, so that was just under 4,000. They're always a lot higher. They have a lot more licensed content from like HBO and lots of like Indian dramas and soaps and stuff. So they got a lot of stuff. In terms of Disney Plus, like main, it looks like the UK is the head. We're going about 2,700 titles. So the UK is currently looks like that's in the lead. So it's great. I mean, there's definitely growing, and it's definitely growing. But yeah, so at the minute it looks like UK. I didn't go through all of them because there's 100 plus channels. I just went knew the ones I knew where we might be high, but we're above Singapore, which was the big one in the summer. Kenneth also said, with Disney Plus licensing out Doctor Who to Disney Plus, what other companies can you see licensing out content to Disney Plus worldwide? I think Sony are the definite bet that I could see them licensing more shows from them. That's definitely, I know you're already starting to see it. We're seeing things like Damages, Good Doctor, the Spider-Man show. So I think we're going to see Sony kicking up a bit. I don't know about Warner. I mean, Warner Brothers already worked with Disney on a few different things like Abbott Elementary, but I could see Warner Brothers pulling back and doing a little bit more. So I wouldn't be at all surprised, depending on if there is a future for HBO. So Suna says, what are your show predictions for the mature content in November? So Disney has put out the November list. There was a lot of content from National Geographic, which was a bit more mature. There was like ones about drugs and prisons and all kinds of stuff. There still wasn't a huge amount. So I don't know if they're going to add any more. I think Willow and Andor is probably, I don't think they're going to add anything more. I think if they're going to add anything more, it'll happen in December for the ad tier. Matt says, what will Disney Plus look like when it merges with Hulu in the United States, the Disney Plus? Well, I think it will look very similar to what Disney Plus looks like internationally. We have that Star Hub. I think we're going to end up with more hubs. I think we're going to end up with more content. Whether or not we have a full merger or if Hulu carries on in some weird way or if it gets sold off, but I definitely think you are going to see a really just a full Disney Plus. But I think they're going to have to update the app a lot more with a lot more content in there, make things a little bit easier. Let's just see here if we've got any other questions. Gary says, let's suppose I travel to a country that uses the Hotstar app instead of international Disney Plus. Would I be able to log onto the Hotstar app? I don't think you can, because the Hotstar app uses you have to use a telephone number to log in. So I've not been to a country that has Hotstar, so I couldn't tell you for sure. So if anyone has done that, let me know. Khaled says, so far it's been Sony and WWE that's been licensed into WWE, also Disney Plus in select markets. BBC is definitely a starter. Yeah, I could see them doing more stuff together. I'm not entirely keen on the idea of them leaving countries out when it's a global thing, but yeah, so I think that should be one of those. All right, 3 more questions from our pre-done section. So Connor says, as the UK isn't getting Doctor Who, could you see BBC licensing other content to Disney Plus, such as Only Fools and Horses, The Young Ones, and others, which would be big for Disney Plus and help their homegrown content? I don't know. I think they could do. I think it would be a good way for Disney to boost up the amount of content. I could quite easily see BBC licensing out non-exclusive to a number of different streaming services to get as much money as possible to help. Then that would help with the BBC, because it's different to any other platform, because obviously it's funded by the government and through our license fees. Because, for example, if I watch live TV here in the UK, I have to pay a annual or a monthly subscription to the BBC. And up until like a couple of years ago, it actually was against the law to watch television without a BBC license. You could actually go to jail if you didn't have it. So it was quite serious. So but thankfully they've changed the rules, but it's not a criminal offense anymore. But the trouble is, a lot of younger people are coming up and they don't have the fear factor, because when I was a kid, we used to get told that the vans were going around the streets looking for people without licenses, and if and of course in the pre-internet days, things like that would just be, whispers, and people would believe it. Connor, and our final pre-done question, and then we're going to be live on the Q&A then for the rest of this session. So Connor says, as Disney is partnering with major sports leagues around the world, including WWE and Formula One, could we see this become more global? Major deals with the UFC, the Premier League, and PGA Tour could all be great attempts for Disney Plus to expand its sports footprint. I think the thing is with sports, it really depends on what their plan is with ESPN. If they're planning on turning it into a global streaming platform, ESPN Plus, or if they're going to incorporate that in as an add-on within Disney Plus, I don't know. But yeah, I think once one country does it, it's going to be, we're just really waiting on one country to kind of fire up on the sports. We're already seeing it with Hotstar in India. But yeah, I mean, I think ESPN Plus would be great to have within Disney Plus, and you go onto the ESPN hub, you get a limited amount of access to live stuff and some stuff, but you have to pay extra. I don't really want to have to pay for soccer and NFL and NHL and all that kind of stuff. I'd like a little bit more stuff on there, but yeah, so that's for me. Right. Okay. So now we are live on the live Q&A. So continue to keep sending in your questions. So I'm going to start at the top and work my way through. So Suna says, what did you think of Doctor Who coming to Disney Plus next year in November in the US? It's not just in the US, it's going to be globally, except for the UK and Ireland. It is fantastic news. I'm a big fan of Doctor Who, but a big fan of Doctor Who for decades. This is a really good show. It is good for the show. It's good for Disney Plus. I literally, it's win-win-win. It's literally win-win-win. So Dylan says, when are they going to add Page Master to Disney Plus lineup? No idea, I'm afraid. I wish I did know. Michael says, when will they add some old Fox movies, like Where Are All the Marilyn Monroe movies, for instance? They are very lacking in even internationally. There's not a lot of movies like before, like the 80s. There's a few 70s stuff, but there's not a lot of old stuff. They really haven't been diving into that content very much at all. And I don't know if it's down to licensing, whether or not the music, whether the quality's up there. Also, pre-existing contracts. Maybe they don't feel like there's enough people wanting to watch it. But I really don't understand why they are not really leaning in on that library content from 20th Century Fox. It is strange, and I really wish that they would add more to it, because it is a great amount of library. Osmond says that they like the Disney Channel and Disney Junior and Disney XD. Noel says, hey, I love the Spectacular Spider-Man and the new animated series. I want all the MCU Spider-Man movies on Disney Plus in 2023 or 2024. Well, in most of the world, most of the Spider-Man movies are actually already on Disney Plus. They did a deal with Sony. I don't know why it hasn't arrived yet in the US. I mean, they made a deal a year ago. Whether or not, again, the ad tier might be a reason why Sony can't put it on there. But yeah, it's kind of weird. It is very weird how they've done that one. Noel says, tomorrow is Halloween. Yes, it is. I've got all my Halloween decorations up. Osmond says, I love Disney and Pixar as well. Good. And Knoxwave says, will Black Panther 2 be on Disney Plus this Christmas, or do you think they'll save it for January? So I think, by my reckoning, I think if it comes out on the 11th of January or 11th of November, I think it would just pass Christmas. And I have a gut feeling that maybe Strange World will jump onto Disney Plus for Christmas, and that might be the thing. I am expecting they might do what they did with Eternals, where it dropped like mid-January. That's where I'm expecting it to come in. Noah says, what about Disney Investor Day 2022? They've not officially announced anything just yet. There was a talk about it at the D23. They were talking about they might do something, but nothing was really been announced. But again, if it's just a virtual one, and again, it's not necessarily, if they did another Investor Day, I wouldn't think back to what they did with 2020. When they did that then, the entire business was closed, and they were basically trying to show out a load of stuff that's coming. I suspect the next, if they did do an Investors Day, it'll be more focused on the ad tier. When it's ad tiers launching internationally, more international launches, maybe even plan with what they're doing with ESPN Plus, the future of Hulu. So a little bit more, it's more about the investors, about the people with the money, rather than, you and I like wanting to know what movies are coming. Matt says, I see we got a Black Panther collection. What other Marvel characters do you want to see and get a collection? I think they've got most of them in there. I'm gonna have to have a quick look actually. Just let's have a look, see what we've got. So I'm just going to share my screen so we can see what I'm looking at. And we'll get rid of the screen. So if we go into search and then we go into our collections. So what ones have we got already? Because I'll be honest, I don't really use these very much. So we've got a Black Panther, we've got a Hulk, Thor, Doctor Strange, we've got Spider-Man, Avengers, we've got an X-Men. I'm just trying to look there. There's obviously a lot of characters there. I suspect we will probably end up getting an Ant-Man collection next year, and maybe I don't know about a Marvels one that might be in line. Yeah, I think, to be honest, the thing is with a collection to me is that you probably need about 6 to 7 things of them in. So if you've only had the character in like one show or one movie, it's a little bit more tricky for them to do it. That's my gut on that one. Joshua says, do you know any connections in Hollywood? I know a few people, but yeah, as far as connections go, not really, no. Okay, so we did that one. So let's see what here. Osmond says, do not shut down Disney Junior or Disney XD or in the US. I don't think they're going to close them down anytime soon in the US. As long as they're still making money, that's going to be the key thing. Internationally, we lost the Disney Channel a long time ago, so it's not a surprise on that one. So Suna says, do you think they should add a comedy collection onto Disney Plus in the US? They should do it in the US. I mean, like here in the UK, let's just click here. We have a comedy section. So if I just go in, I'll show you what we've got in here on the UK and our comedy. So here we go. The comedy collections right here. So in here, we've got all the different shows, some movies, some series, romantic comedy, action comedies, horror comedies. And so there's already one there baked in. They just need the content in the US to match what we've got. So definitely would like to see that. Matt says, if they don't add general entertainment, that is, on December the 8th, do you think a lot of people will unsubscribe? I don't necessarily think people will unsubscribe because of there not being general entertainment on that day. I think the biggest problem is going to be when that price rise comes in at $3 a month more in the US, or you go on the ads here. That's going to be what's going to do it. And I do feel if they want to get that free, make it look like that $3 is worth it, they need to roll out a much bigger roll of content. Barbara Trolling says, what are your predictions for Warner Brothers? I think they're going to continue to cut and slice and dice, get rid of anything that's not making a lot of money, that doesn't have a lot of viewership, and I think he's going to sell it. I know he says he's not up for sale, but I think we're going to see a consolidation again between either Comcast. I think they might be the one that will buy it. I definitely think that's going to be happening. Devon says, do you think we're getting to see Zootopia's 6 short series on Disney Plus in the US? So it's coming on November the 9th. I suspect the trailer is probably going to drop tomorrow, because on the latest episode of What's Up Disney Plus, they did actually include almost like a trailer. So I'm surprised that one's not fully out. Did get to see the trailer for that at the D23 Expo. So yeah, we're going to be getting it, and we'll be seeing it pretty soon. Happy Trailer says, Scandinavia has much content plus exclusive content too. Yep, Scandinavia is doing pretty good on content. Jose says, maybe Wallace and Gromit on Disney Plus. Very good call. Very good call. That would be a really good one, because a good family entertainment, and I love Wallace and Gromit. Those early shorts were fantastic. Noah says, we need November earning call website. I want Disney Plus Day. Do you think they will, Marvel Studios, or right again? If they do another Investors Day, do not be expecting them to be coming out talking about Marvel shows and Star Wars shows and things like that. It's an Investors Day, which is about shareholders making money on the stocks, pushing the stock price up, where they're going to make their money from. It's not about there's a brand new series coming of what, Vision Quest or something like that. That was what the only reason they did that in 2020 was because everything was closed and they wanted to keep people invested in the company. So yeah, if they do an Investors Day this year, or if they do one maybe early next year, do not expect there to be lots of announcements about shows and stuff. It is about investors. Matt says, do you think that we'll get any of the Joneses added to Disney Plus? I'm guessing you mean Indiana Jones. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they've done a deal to get it on when that new movie comes out next summer. Osmond says they love Dancing with the Stars and American Idol. Good for you watching Dancing with the Stars. I know Strictly's just started now. Let's see what else we've got here. So Bertram says, I love Disney Plus show. Yes, good. Matt says, what other shows do you think are going to move to Disney Plus? Well, that's very tricky. There's a difference between what I think are going to move over and what I would like to move over. I don't necessarily think we're going to see too many things move over from Hulu. The problem is right now is Disney has to keep providing Hulu with content. It has to keep providing it with new originals, and it has to keep providing it with library. If they start pulling stuff off there and devaluing that Hulu, what's going to happen then is Comcast can then either there'll be a clause in the contract, or they'll be able to go to basically sue them for the idea that they're basically, because they own a third of it and they're entitled to a certain percentage. They're entitled to it. So as much as we'd all like them to do something, until they make a deal, Disney still has to kind of do something with Hulu. It can't just pull everything just right now. Kelly said, speaking of WWE, the WWE content on the Star Hub for Disney Plus, I feel the Star Hub will stick around for licensed content. I think Star Hub's going to stay around for a while. I definitely see that. I think that it won't. That's becoming a brand, and it's a nice catch-all area for everything. Bartram says, Disney Plus shows, why are you a movie is coming to Disney Plus? I don't understand. Sorry. Gary says, oh, and I went to Paul Shin-Hui's Lee parties last weekend, and while I was dilly-dallying, I realized there's a manga based on The Mandalorian. I hope we get to see it in English. Is there an anime animation? I knew they were making a comic book. Didn't realize they'd made an animation one, so that's pretty cool. Noah says, I want all the Spider-Man movies. Yep, I think we definitely all like to see them all in there. Jose says, do you think Disney will put the Aardman content on Disney Plus outside of the UK? If they pay up, if Disney pay for it, they could maybe be able to get hold of it. Happy Trailer says, questions are how will we be getting much more Donald, Mickey Mouse, and Goofy cartoons like DuckTales? I think they're always going to be carrying on with something. I mean, we've got the new Mickey Mouse short coming out on the 18th of November. There's always going to be something with Mickey Mouse, Donald, and Goofy in the line. Well, how much they use them, I don't know. The trouble is that they're going to start going into a line soon of where they start going into the public domain, these characters, so Disney might not want to be using them as much. But I always think we're going to be getting more content with them in. Kayla said, I see ESPN Plus will be a paid add-on for Disney Plus globally because there's a number of Disney Plus subscribers who don't watch sports regularly. It's not only the fact of it's the price, because if they're having to spend all that money on sports, if they add it into Disney Plus, you're talking massive amounts then of additional revenue and additional costs. I'm quite happy for it to be a paid add-on. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I think, they've obviously got a deal at the minute with the people that run ESPN Player over here in like Europe and stuff. So there's still some deals that they need to sort out. Gary says, Paul, being the guy that plays Carson on the Mandalorian, could have asked him for a little more details, but I doubt he'd spill the beans. Yeah, they're very good at like not talking about stuff. Matt says, will previous seasons of Doctor Who stream on Disney Plus when the new season launches? So in the press release, it was just the new content, because right now, for example, in the US, the old seasons are all on HBO Max, and I believe here in the UK, they're on like BritBox. So how long those contracts are in place for, when the deal expires on HBO, whether or not Disney get hold of it, I think that's a very high possibility, because it's a good thing for both parties. So I think it will probably come eventually, but there's currently contracts in place that might stop that one. Bartram says, what is coming and movies for Disney Plus in November? There's a lot. You'll find the full list over at what's on disneyplus.com. Some highlights in terms of movies coming out. We're going to be getting Disenchanted coming up on the 18th of November, so that's a big one. You're also getting Fire of Love, a new National Geographic documentary movie, which I'm looking forward to, on the 9th of November. Another one I'm looking forward to is Mickey Mouse, A Story of a Mouse, which is dropping again on Mickey Mouse's birthday on the 18th. That's one I'm looking forward to. So those are the main movies dropping in the US. You're not getting a lot of movies anymore because they've got a lot of them backed up already. But those are the new ones coming in. Oswald said, "Is Finding Marlin coming?" No idea, I'm afraid. I don't know if they need to do another Finding Dory stuff. I think they've kind of done enough for that one. Kevin says, "Do you suspect there'll be increased shows such as Best in Snow, reality TV that will be developed for Disney Plus? This is an area they seem to be lacking in." 100%. A couple of reasons. First off, it's cheaper. It's cheaper to make something like that. I think we are going to see more of it, but I think also they need to get more general entertainment stuff onto Disney Plus in general to get it out there. We are seeing more reality stuff. I think they have to move away from having too much kid stuff because it's already proven on Disney Plus. I feel like, maybe making series and stuff like that, like The Big Fib, and those kind of shows haven't worked. But maybe a one-off special might work a little bit better around the holidays. But I definitely feel like we are going to see more sort of reality TV content dropping in again, especially when they sort out with Hulu. Jay says, "Will Disney Plus also do next day on channels like ABC, Freeform, FX?" So at the minute in the US, it's still very much restricted with that. I think with Hulu, I don't think they can probably move ABC and FX and Freeform. It would be nice if they could do. I feel like if they were to start, ABC might be the best bet to do it rather than FX. I think FX shows might be a little bit more mature for the US audience. If they're going to do it all or not at all. I mean, they could, in theory, maybe do it and kind of, they could maybe point to the fact that Peacock have done it, but I don't know. I would like them to do it, but I don't think we're going to get that one straight away. Matt says, "Do you think they'll start investing more in holiday content for Disney Plus moving forward?" I mean, the holiday season is always a major point to put content on there because you got more people sitting at home, people are with their families. There is a lot of value in it. So you always see, I think they're always going to be putting in more stuff. I think we're definitely going to be seeing more of it. Gary says, "I'm still waiting for My Hero Academia season 6 to show up on Disney Plus in Hong Kong. Looks like they're not simulcasting it like Netflix." The simulcast system is really weird. Disney just does not seem to be set up to deal with this so many of their shows are just like messed up in terms of how there's just no continuity. It's not like every show does it or every show doesn't. I don't know what's going on. So Suna says, "Do you think they'll announce any mature content like Modern Family, Fresh Off the Boat, How I Met Your Mother, My Wife and Kids, and Malcolm in the Middle?" If they do not do it for the launch of the ad tier, I will say that there's going to be a little bit more concrete information. I don't think there will be anything maybe properly until they sort out the Hulu, which could be another year away. So it's either going to be coming up or there's going to be a big delay. I would say Modern Family has maybe got less of a chance because they've already got a deal in place with NBC for Peacock for that one. So that one might be a bit of a tricky. Malcolm in the Middle should have been on there for that. I don't know. Still don't know why that one isn't on there. And the other shows, I mean, it'd be nice to get them on there. How I Met Your Mother is a massive hit on Disney Plus internationally. Happy Trailer says, "In Norway, we have Disney Junior, Disney XD, and Disney Plus, and it looks like it's not going away. So Disney Plus would be great to have live Disney Junior, etc. on Disney Plus. Your opinion?" So way before Disney Plus launched, we used to have Disney Life, and we used to have a live stream of those 3 channels. And obviously, that's all gone now. I don't necessarily think we need a live stream of the channel, essentially. I don't think we need that. But I feel like we are much more likely to get it now with the ad tier coming in because they can start putting ads into I think it would be great to have some channels in Disney Plus where not necessarily like, you maybe have a Disney Junior one and it just puts something on it's got something on rotation 24/7. You go on a Marvel one and it's just got Marvel movies running, or you go on a Star Wars one. And so it's a bit like basically flicking through the channels. I think it's a really good, a lot of streamers have started adding this in because sometimes you just want to put something on and you don't want to have to think about it and you don't have to put it on. So, and I think if they did that, they could put in adverts. So I 100% agree. I think it would be really good. Not necessarily, as I said, a straight up live stream of that channel, but they could do something very similar to it. Joshua says, "I think Black Panther will be on Disney Plus in February. I mean, it depends on the content releasing, but it makes sense. I think probably be January. I think it might be a little bit early. I think they might want to get that one in. Depends how good it does in the box office. If the box office numbers are still smashing it in, but then they've also got to be wary that it's not hitting Avatar. I don't think it's going to be a straight up 45 days. I think it's going to be a little like Doctor Strange. I think it might be a little bit later to get out of maybe even a New Year drop. Michael says, an ode 20th century and BBC production is Here Comes the Double Deckers from the 1970s. Hope it will come to Disney Plus soon. Not sure on that one. I think the trouble, there does seem to be a definite system in place of dealing with this like 70s and 80s and there just does not seem to be a lot of demand from Disney's point of view that they seem to want it on there. I think it's costing too much money, but yeah, I mean, that might be a good one. No says, I cannot wait for Daredevil Born Again. I can't wait all the episodes on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's looking good. I did see a video. Charlie Cox is currently training. He's in his training mode for it. So that's looking pretty good. Salvatore says, when will Disney Plus merge with Hulu? So if Comcast will not sell or will not make a deal with Disney because they want too much and Disney don't want to pay it, the deal can be pushed forward in 2024. So my gut would say late 2024 as of right now, unless they do a deal beforehand that's beneficial to both companies. So it could be another 2 years away. And even if it comes in 2024, it's still going to have to go through process. It's going to have to be valued. It's still going to have to be purchased. And then hopefully they would have planned what they're doing once they get access to it. It's not like sitting here now going, oh, what we won't plan until we've done it. They should have a plan already in place and should already be working on the app. Matt says, do you think Disney will shut down Disney XD in the US other than acquired or older content the channel has been lacking recently? I think Disney XD is literally just a rerun show. I don't think there's anything wrong with them having a channel that they can just put stuff on and keep rolling on it. If they're making money, gives it extra option then to be able to watch stuff. But you're not going to see a Disney XD expansion of shows and stuff because that seems to have all, Disney XD, they probably could shut it down and they probably should do, really. Tracy says, happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to you. Fulton, today is your birthday, so happy birthday, Fulton. Monrad says, do you think Disney Plus should have live sports? I feel it could have some live sports if they incorporate ESPN Plus. I would like, if they did that you kind of pay extra for most of it. But maybe like the big games, the big, like if they're putting it on ABC, like a big NFL football game, maybe put it on there as a live stream as well. The big stuff. I don't think they should have live sports all the time, but maybe just a little bit. Bartram says, what movies are coming to Disney Plus? I think I already answered that one. Matt says, what do you think of James Gunn going to DC Studios? Good for him. It's really good for him. I think, I think DC Studios needs somebody at the top with a plan. I think a 4-year contract he's in place for. I did enjoy the Suicide Squad. I enjoyed a bit of Peacemaker. I haven't watched all of it yet. Really enjoyed the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's going to be a bit awkward the next 6 months with them working together on some of this stuff. I think it's good. I don't see any bad side of it. I just feel like DC needs to get its act together because a strong DC pushes Marvel to be better. That's the way I look at it. Well, when DC is weak, Marvel can get a bit slap happy because it doesn't need to. So if we got a strong DC, it means Marvel's going to be better. And I'm a big DC fan. I mean, I'm literally here. I got my Superman pop right here, just up there. If I push up, I've got my Batwing, Lego sets and stuff like that. I've got the Batmobile up here. I'm a big DC fan as well. So I'm quite happy. So I'm definitely more than happy to have some more good quality DC stuff. I'm just going to move that camera. I knocked it a bit. Should have done that one. John says, do you that Rescue Me and Fresh on the Boat will come to Disney Plus in the UK? I think Fresh on the Boat, I did see that one I think has recently gone to Channel 4, so that might be an issue there. Rescue Me, I don't know where that one is right now. Where is? I've never seen that one. I should actually. I know it's coming. It's coming to Canada and it's coming to Australia as well. So right now, it's nowhere. I wouldn't be at all surprised if that ends up dropping in the UK at some point pretty soon. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. So Suna says, do you think there'll be a general entertainment content on December the 8th? I'm hoping so. If they don't do it then, it's going to be another 18 months, I feel. And then just a drip feed coming in. John says, and Two Girls and a Pizza Place. Oh, I haven't. I used to love that show because that's kind of where Ryan Reynolds kind of got known. Yeah, I mean, do they actually own? Is that an actual? Do they own that one? Two Girls and a Pizza Place. I'm gonna have to see who actually made it. It's a 20th Century Fox. So yeah, on ABC. So yeah, hopefully that will come in. So yeah, I mean that would be nice if they could get that one in because I enjoyed watching that one when that one came out. Morad says, do you think Disney will release a new season of Dr. K's Exotic Animal ER? Depends on when did they last do one of them? When did they last do a Dr. K Exotic Animal ER? So when did they last do let's see. So there was a season 9 was last year. So they could be filming something now. Yeah, so the last episode was March last year. So it's been 18 months. That's the long. Yeah, there was a 2-year break nearly from season 8 to season 9. Wasn't some normally there hasn't been such a long break as that. I don't know. I'm gathering it probably it might look like it's over. Yeah, so not sure if there will be another one, but it's possible. Matt says, would you like to see more Tales of the Jedi? 100%. I thought they were really good. I thought that was a really good series of shorts. I thought that was such a good series. So Sina says, do you think there'll be other shows on Disney Plus besides sitcoms when the ad tier comes? I'm hoping so. I think they need drama. They need to get stuff on there that everyone can watch. So if I just bring up here, I'm going to bring up Disney Plus here in the UK because it's always a good way of showing it. So I'm just going to hide your question there. So here in the UK, I mean, they're not going to be able to get all of this because of certain contracts and stuff in place. But I don't know, Grey's Anatomy, they might not be able to get hold of because of Netflix. But something like Family Guy would be pretty good on there. If they could get maybe Modern Family might be tricky. Criminal Minds, they can't do in the US because they don't have the rights to it. Desperate Housewives could be an interesting one. American Dad, New Girl would be. New Girl's probably got a good chance as well because it's kind of a show that's finished. How I Met Your Mother would be good. Bob's Burgers, why they haven't done that one? It might be a deal with Fox. That might be an issue. But yeah, so I definitely feel that might be one of the reasons why they can't do that one. Okay, let's see where we are. Bertram says, I love Disney Plus shows in the UK. Yeah, there's a lot of good ones in there. John says, do you think we'll get fast channels like ITVX have? I also heard ITVX will be getting MCU movies. I haven't heard about the ITVX getting MCU movies, but it wouldn't surprise me if Disney will license out some of its movies non-exclusively to get some more money. I mean, I don't see there's a problem in maybe putting out, 4 or 5 movies, essentially putting them on another platform to get more people. I don't think there's a problem with that as long as it doesn't get removed from Disney Plus. But I don't think they would do that with Marvel. But I do think fast channels would be good for them to have on there. Like I said earlier, with the things coming in, I don't know whether or not they'll do a full fast channel where it's completely free. But I could quite easily see Hulu becoming that. That could be their way around doing it. Turn Hulu into the fast channel and then launch that internationally as a fast network, and that's the free version. I could see them doing that with Hulu and going a completely different route. Save Me One says, with the success of Hocus Pocus 2 and The Rescue Rangers winning Best TV Movies at the Emmy Awards, do you think they'll announce sequels next year? Very, very likely. They've both been big hits. I can't see a reason why they wouldn't. Mr. Fulton says, are they going to put more of the missing episodes from Bear in the Blue House on Disney Plus? I don't know. There might be reasons why they're not there to begin with. There might be some licensing issues with music. There might be quality issues. There might be other issues. So we don't know quite why. So C-Town said manga equals Japanese comic. Yeah. I used to have loads of manga. It's kind of funny because back when I was at high school, manga was the main brand, and everything. It wasn't called anime really. We all called everything manga, and there was a manga. The company was manga, and I remember used to buy comic books and used to watch like manga on Channel 4 in the evenings. So it's like, I mean, I was watching anime like 25 years ago. I just kind of stopped watching it for some reason. Matt says, will Disney Plus Hotstar merge with Disney Plus in the US? So Hotstar in the US has actually already merged in with Hulu. They closed it down about a year ago. So Hotstar doesn't exist in the US now. It's already been merged in with Hulu. I wouldn't be at all surprised if we do see a big shift to seeing more Hotstar content added to Disney Plus around the world. I think we could quite easily see that. Just heads up, we've got about 15 more minutes because then it would be an hour, but also my voice. So Suna says, will we see some more content from ABC, Freeform, 20th Century, and FX content in the US? I think definitely 100%. FX is probably the one I would be a little bit less inclined with. I think that's probably the least likely of them straight away. I think ABC and Freeform definitely. Epic Gamer says, wow, I just realized the chat was open to everyone. I completely forgot. Do you think we will see any surprise things in November? I think there probably might be a few surprises. They always seem to do a few. But November's pretty packed. And I think they're trying to get as many people to sign up as possible. It's a big season, obviously, with everyone staying at home. But I think they might, if anything like that, they might want to hold off till December. But I think there is. Yes, and then you just realize the chat is open. Yeah, I'm going to be trying. My aim is to try and do this at least once a month where I'm going to open it up. So that's the plan anyway. C-Tan said, sooner or later, Disney Plus and Disney Plus perhaps have got to merge. I don't know if they have to merge, but I think they probably will do at some point. Barbatronic says, I don't think Warner Brothers Discovery should have a streaming service because they have so much debt. There's definitely that answer. I don't know if building a new one is the best way for them to do it, but I can see them pulling back. I wouldn't be at all surprised if HBO Max limps on and he leases out other stuff. Salvatore says, I like the live Q&A like this so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's fun as well because it's, again, it's just so much, it's just different doing it. When I've got everybody in on it, it's obviously a lot more questions, but I also obviously like to give our patrons and channel members access to this primarily. Gary Lou said there's a manga, not anime series based on the Mandalorian. Sources say there's 5 chapters so far. I've only been able to find 2 so far. Kaylee said, if there was any more general entertainment with the ad to launching, I could see it being shared with the Hulu and Disney Plus, similar to DreamWorks content. Yeah, I think they could definitely see some of this coming in. Noel says, bye. Tell me there's an announcement with the at the minute we've not got a detail about an Investors Day, but yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Happy Trader says, question in Norway, we have Disney Plus, but so much kids still watching more Disney Junior and Disney should Disney add Disney TV, etc. on Disney Plus like live TV? I don't think they will do. I don't think they will. And I did mention that earlier. Noxwave said, I heard that Loki season 2 is officially wrapped filming. Sadly, it will have 6 episodes like season 1. Could have had 9 or 12 episodes better. Well, the trouble is if they've planned for 6, then that's what they need to do. I mean, I'd rather they do 6 episodes that are good than stretching out to 12 episodes and they're being a bit wishy-washy. I think Marvel seem to have got a better idea now of maybe how the series are working and doing what they're doing with stuff. So again, I'm not too worried necessarily about the length of. I'd rather have 6 good ones than have 12 bad ones. Kayla said, if true that NBC content is leaving Hulu, but not everything is gone since both Disney and Comcast have to honor existing contracts. That's it. There's still a lot of contracts in place that we don't know about. Morgan says, Paramount and Peacock in the UK are horrible. Still feels like a beta, yet they have launched. Why not shut them both down and launch Sky Showtime for the UK? I suspect it's just down to Paramount Plus has already launched here. I'll be honest, I'm not using Paramount Plus as much as I thought I would do. I was expecting to use it a lot more. There's not as much on there that I would probably have watched. And Peacock in the UK is dreadful. There's barely anything on it. And it's so badly incorporated into Sky, you don't really know. It's basically just Sky box sets. Matt says, what movie or show are you looking forward to in 2023? Oh, 2023. Obviously, Mandalorian season 3, Loki season 2. I don't know if Ahsoka comes out, that would be good. Skeleton Crew is definitely one I'm looking forward to. Those are the main ones. Matt Fish says, will new shows released internationally still be called Star Originals if the hub expands? Depends how they do it. They might want to keep that Star Original thing going to differentiate between Disney Plus and like the mature stuff, but it's a bit of an odd one, really. The Star, even like here in the UK, they don't really refer to Star Originals very much. Also, is there going to be an American Idol on Disney Plus? I think it's really going to depend on how the ratings are of the Dancing with the Stars. That's going to be a big issue. Question: how much money do you think it costs to make shorts versus a TV series? Sometimes I wish longer episodes of the shorts. I think obviously the TV series is going to cost a lot more than shorts, but sometimes as well, I feel like it's a case of not just the cost, but the story. If you take, I mean, you look at some of the animated shorts like Cars or Tales of the Jedi, are those stories, do they have a natural ending, or could they keep fluffing them out? Sometimes shorts are just, the stories are just better that way. Sometimes it can get a bit of filling, but yeah, so it's definitely, cost is a big issue. Matt says, do you think we'll get talk shows on the Disney Plus? I really don't know. I think it would be really good to get Jimmy Kimmel, get the live talk show, get it up on Disney Plus around the world. I think they should definitely be doing that. Things, the international, see, that's like an international show because that kind of goes everywhere. I think things like The View or Good Morning America are much harder for them to go on. I mean, it wouldn't be if Good Morning America, but then all the ads and stuff would be really annoying. I think the only one for me, the talk show, would be getting Jimmy Kimmel. CJ said, at least give Disney Studios a chance to get a good budget to buy Pokemon, Magic Knights, Studio Ghibli, Yu-Gi-Oh, Witch to welcome them to Disney Plus for World. I think they're going to be trying to grab as much stuff as they can, and I feel like the streaming services are all going to get in on them. Disney have had Pokemon in the past. Studio Ghibli, I mean, at the minute it's on HBO in the US, so they could do maybe something. Yu-Gi-Oh has been massive on Disney as well, so I definitely feel they've got a lot of effort in that one. Matt says, I'd like to see some more Marvel specials like World by Night. Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more of them because they're just cheaper. I think that's the key thing. Kayla said the customer rep did mention to me that Hotstar content is coming to Disney Plus, but didn't say when. I feel once Hotstar X is rolled out globally, that's when more content will come. Yeah, I could see that coming in, especially as well, because if it's all on one system, I just want to see more things coming in. Epic Film says, is the new Pinhead movie coming to Disney Plus? So I'm guessing you mean Hellraiser. It looks like it's US only that movie's coming in. No other country has got Hellraiser, the new one. So it's only in the US, I think. Gary says Disney Plus certainly has no problem simulcast Spy Family. It's weird because it's simulcasts on both Netflix and Disney Plus. That shows on Crunchyroll exclusively in our neck of the woods. Yeah, they do. They're doing some stuff. I mean, Bleach seems to be coming out in some countries, but the subtitles and the dubbing is all over the place on all these shows. So Suna says, do you think Disney Plus will lack features like share play and group play? I think the trouble is with the share play and the group play, why you're going to have to be on the upper tier is that, say like you're on the ad, say you're on the ad tier and I'm on the non-ad tier. So say we're watching, I don't know, Turning Red together, and you go to an ad, right? And we're doing a group watch. Well, does it pause for me? Or do you then, when you come back from the ads, you're then like 3 minutes behind me? So the group, so I can see there's an actual functional problem from the point of view that you have to have everybody on no ads in order for the group play to work, because otherwise, as I said, if you've got people not jumping around, that's very complicated. So that's probably why. Filton says, question is all the missing episodes, will they be getting them? I honestly don't know. I wouldn't like to. There's probably a reason why they're lacking to begin with. Salvatore, we've done that question already. CJ says, when think about it, Disney Plus will have Disney Annie's Verse on Disney Plus for equal right opportunities. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to see a lot more of this stuff coming in there. It's a big market. Epic says, is the Planet of the Apes TV series going to be going to Disney Plus? It would be nice to have the really old series from the 60s on there. Haven't heard anything about it yet. Matt says, I hope Disney will start investing more in creating Muppets content. I know Muppets Mayhem is coming in 2023, but I think they should create more specials or original films. I think in a minute they're just trying to find what works with the Muppets. Like, and see how it all comes together, because they've had some flops. It's trying to find where the Muppets can live like in today's society. I'm going to be honest. During the Disney branded television's panel at the D23, it's opened up with like the Muppets come like doing it, and just seeing Animal on the stage was so cool. I just loved it. It was so pretty cool. Osmond says happy Halloween, so happy Halloween to all of you. So Suna says, do you think there'll be more hubs when the ad tier comes? I think in order to add the new hubs, they're going to have to do a drastic change to Disney Plus. But the big problem as well is they're going to have the ad content to come in, and they're going to have a marketing campaign. So if it doesn't start up pretty soon, I would imagine they're going to get, if we get into that the investor quarterly thing in about a week or so's time, a couple of weeks out before it happens, that's when they're going to start kicking in. Maybe the 8th of November from that point on, within a couple of weeks. So I'm hoping we're going to start finding out soon. Matt says, I hope they're coming out with something fresh for Disney Plus rather than rebooting old shows. Yeah, there's way too many old shows on there. So Suna said, have you heard about a Malcolm in the Middle reboot? No, that's brand new. Epic says, where can you find HBO Max on Sky Q? You can't. HBO Max doesn't exist here in the UK. We don't have that one. Happy Trainer says, as a big fan of Disney Plus, I feel less and less Disney in Disney Plus. What is your opinion, and are you worried about the magic of Disney is going away versus Star Wars, Marvel, 20th century content? Oh, no. Because I love the Star Wars stuff, I love the Marvel stuff, and I really am enjoying all the Star and the 20th century things. The simple thing is, you got to think of the Disney stuff as what it was. They're still making all of this stuff. They're still putting out animated movies. They're still putting out the Disney Channel stuff. It's just now that they're marketing to more people to get more people in. They realize with the theme parks and with Disney Plus and with the movies and stuff, they can make so much more. They can reach a much bigger audience, because you go to Disney parks now and adults are there because they've got all these other brands, but that doesn't take away from Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Bluey, and the idea of the Disney brand being just for children. I think that's something that they're not really into the same way that it was. And now essentially the franchises are the brand. Tangled, Frozen, those are the branding rather than just Disney as a whole. But no, I don't feel the magic is going away. I feel like you're seeing all this stuff on Disney Plus, and you're like, well, it's not taking anything away from it. You're still getting it. But Disney, you only used to put out a couple of movies a year, and you probably they just did a better job of separating it. But no, I don't think that's so much of the case. Salvatore says, will you be doing more? Yes. So the plan is to do. My hope is to do at least one of these a month, like this. Certainly a lot more questions, and this is one of the reasons why I've moved it earlier. So it gives me a little bit of time extra. Bertram says, what is coming to Disney Plus in the UK in November? If you head over to what's on Disney Plus now, and if you go over to the website, and let's bring that one up where it is. There it is. If you go on to what's on disneyplus.com, you have here at the top, you have the what's coming in November, and you have the full list, so you can go read that one. So I'm not reading it all out because there's so much of it. CJ says, Roger, do you agree with me? My dreams for Disney to have rights, to have welcoming. I think the more content, the better. The more choice you've got, the better. I think Pokemon would be amazing on there. Studio Ghibli. I've never heard of Magic Knight, so I don't know about that. Studio Ghibli would be great, because they've done a lot of stuff with Disney in the past, Spirited Away, etc. I think that would be pretty good. So Soon says, do you think a Malcolm in the Middle reboot will be as good as original? Probably not. I don't think they can really redo them. Matt says, do you think Disney Plus will start releasing films on different days instead of just Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays? Well, internationally, so today it's Sunday, and in Canada they got new episodes of Simpsons, American Dad, Family Guy, and North. Tomorrow here in the UK we'll be getting a new episode of The Walking Dead. Tuesday we're getting there'll be Reasonable Doubt, be a new one coming in. Wednesday's obviously Wednesday. Thursday we get the Kardashians. So actually, internationally, we're already at a point where we pretty much get new content every day of the week. And I feel that once Disney have sorted out what they're doing in the US with the Hulu stuff, that's when you're going to see all this coming in. And I think you are going to see more stuff. You're already seeing it happening. And I think they're doing experiments on us. So I think that's definitely it. Ricardo said, have you seen Sky Showtime? It was already in some countries, and this is Paramount and Peacock. Yeah, we don't have Sky Showtime here in the UK. They did a different deal here. Noxwave says, would you like to see characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. possibly return to the MCU, possibly in Secret Invasion? I'd love for Quake, and that Quake would be a good one. I'm trying to think what other characters. I feel like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I would be nice to kind of get it interconnected a little bit better. Matt says, will Disney release baby TV content for Disney Plus in the US? Disney now owns those properties. They've actually added a lot in the UK. They've actually added a lot already. If I go here into Disney Plus and go into here, so you got all this stuff. So there's actually quite a lot of it internationally. They just don't seem to have really put anything in there in the US. So I don't know why they've not. Barbara Trident says, I think Disney should close down the Disney Channel because kids don't watch TV anymore. I get where you're coming from. I think the idea of having as long as they're making money from it, that's one thing. But there is a lot of people that are paying for cable that don't pay for streaming, and I think they should have access to some content. Ricardo says Canada is bringing some A&E content, which I didn't expect since Disney taking advantage of their American state, but I don't think it's global. The trouble with A&E stuff is, I know, like here in Europe, they had to sell their stake in it, and that was a problem. That was in order to get like the Fox deal through. Matt says, do you think Disney Plus will do more international movies like they do TV series? I think probably they're more focused on series rather than movies. I think that seems to be the way things seem to be going. Bertrand said, is High School Musical series coming back to Disney Plus again? High School Musical, the series is returning for a 4th season. So Suna says, I think Bob's Burgers would be a good show to put on Disney Plus, and New Girl is still on Netflix in the US. Yeah, so I think once New Girl leaves Netflix, there's a good possibility. Bob's Burgers makes so much sense. CJ says, Roger in the US, will Disney Studios have good budget and welcome rights for these kind of things? It would be really good to have that kind of content on there. Right, so just a quick head up. So we're going to do about another 5-10 minutes. We'll go a little bit over since we've still got a lot of questions, but I will at a certain point have to pop an end to it. Ricardo says, so no more special announcements for future Disney Plus projects. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Matthew says, do you think they will do Doctor Who streaming time the same time in the UK or drop it on mid? I feel like with the new Doctor Who episodes, they will launch in the UK for us first. Whether or not they get added to Disney Plus at the same time globally, you got a much better chance of that happening, or it might be the day after. But I think with it being a global release, and they're doing it with Bleach, so there's a very good chance of them doing it. Matthew says, I see in November they will drop an anime series onto Disney Plus. Do you think this is the start of more anime dropping into Disney Plus in the US? Unfortunately, that there was one. There's some kind of time machine one that was added, and then it got took off the list. So I don't know if it's going to be coming. Kylie says, hopefully Secrets of Sofa Springs will release weekly. Yeah, the Secrets of Sofa Springs have been a really weird release schedule. Sometimes they came on early, sometimes they came home. Kyle says that I still think the Disney Plus November US catalog is okay, but it's not super strong. There's a lot of stuff on there. The National Geographic, it's a really solid month, but again, it could just do with a few better shows. I think definitely. Devon says, Roger, there's a new adventure movie coming to Paramount Plus outside the US, and it's called Big Blue City Adventure on November. By the way, my birthday this is November. Well, happy birthday for November the 20th. And I didn't know about Blues Big City. Is that Blues? I don't know. Blues Clues, or I don't know. I might be completely off. Kyle also says the Planet of the Apes movie should be on Disney Plus at least the past 4, especially since they're making. Yeah, they should get it on there. I mean, here in the UK, if I go in here and go into the collections, we should want it on here. So if I go in here, so we have the Planet of the Apes collection, and here we have movies. We have some of the older ones, and we have some of the new ones. So I definitely feel that they should be on there at least. Okay, let's keep going. Kyle says it's weird that Wicked Tuna season 11's, but not one. There might be some streaming. There might be some legal issues there. Matt says, "What international movies do you want to see on Disney Plus?" I'd like to see some martial art movies from like Japan. That'd be kind of cool. Some Bollywood movies. I'd be quite interested to see what some of those are about because some of them have got some big budgets. A new one coming out, Brown Master. I've never watched a Bollywood movie, but I'm thinking that might be the first one I'm going to watch. Epic says, "Is Muppets in Space going to Disney Plus?" I believe it's leaving Hulu next month. So it's got to deal with Sony. It'd be good. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it did. Now that we're starting to see some of the other ones on, Matt asked pretty much a similar question. If it's owned by Sony, you got a better chance on there. The Jim Henderson, the Muppet Show is already on there. The Muppets Babies is a little bit harder. Let's see what else we've got. So Tracy says, "Sorry, not been with you. Been watching motor racing. Happy Halloween." No problem at all. No problem watching motor racing. That's pretty cool. Epic says, "Have they begun filming Hong Kong Disney?" Oh, the new King Kong series. I don't know yet. I haven't heard anything about that one for a while. Carl also asked about the Wallace and Gromit movies. Hopefully, but nothing has been announced. Matt says, "Could we see some more cooking shows like Hell's Kitchen on Disney Plus?" Oh, I like Hell's Kitchen, but I really like Gordon Ramsay. I think he's a really good chef. It'd be nice to see them on there. It's very tricky with chefs because internationally it's a little bit harder because what you tend to see is each country has their own chefs. We've got a new one coming up from Australia at the beginning of next week. Donna's Kitchen, which is an Australian one. So I think we are going to see some more. CJ says, "Sorry about repeating my question." No, it's not so much as a case of hard feelings. Sometimes, and I know it's not necessarily your fault if you're asking a question, but because there's so many, by the time you think I've skipped it, but it's the fact that it's just taking me a lot longer to get through them all. But yeah, if I've seen you've done them again, it's not a problem. I'm not worried in the slightest. Ultimately, if you ask the same question over and again, I will just skip on to another one if I've already answered it. But do not worry in the slightest. Ultimately, if I haven't answered it, then I'm not worried. Babatron says, "I think Warner Brothers Discovery will make fast channels for Pluto TV." Yeah, I could see that happening. Ryan says, "Will Disney make more Tales of the Jedi?" I hope they do because it's a really good series. Happy Trailer says, "Great stream. I love Star Wars and Marvel." Me too. Yeah, it's been a good fun. I can't believe we've been doing this for like nearly an hour and 15 minutes. So Ryan, we did the question about live sports. So we did that one earlier today. So Suna says, "Do you think Disney Plus in the US will grow more? They've added back Blackish and Grownish and Netflix shows. They definitely need to add some more." So Jordan says, hello to you too. Ryan says, "I thought Doctor Who was on HBO Max." Yeah, so the current seasons are all on there, but from next year, for November, the new series is going to be on Disney Plus in the US. So Suna says, "Do you think we'll see some anime shows on Disney Plus in the US?" I think we will do. CJ says, "Do you believe that Disney and 20th Century Studios will make animated movies for Planet of the Apes, Aliens versus Predator on Disney Plus or Hulu? Just a good... Oh, that's a good idea. I think Aliens versus Predator would be a really good way of doing it with keeping the costs down. Planet of the Apes, I mean, it's kind of funny because that kind of started, I always remember watching the cartoon, or the animated one, or not the animated, the live action series as a kid. It's the cost, really. I mean, I know them. They are making FX are making an Alien series, so they are doing it. Happy Trailer says, "My youngest kid watches so much more Disney TV. I think that I blame the ads and the hype she gets between shows." Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that. Roger says, "Will Sonic come to Disney Plus in the US?" No, that is a Paramount movie, so they will be going to the movies. Will be going to Paramount Plus, and I think there's a new Sonic show that's going to be on Netflix. Matt says, "We're not seeing a lot of the new 20th Century films in the US." That's because up until literally the end of this year, all new 20th Century Studio movies, including Searchlight, would have to go to HBO Max first. And so that's why you've not really been seeing so much. They then did a deal last year to bring some of the movies onto Disney Plus a bit quicker. Things like West Side Story, Free Guy, and trying to think what else and I suspect Avatar 2 will be the last of those movies going forward from January onwards, those movies then can be put where they don't have to go to HBO. They're still going to be Avatar 2 probably will still end up going to HBO Max because that'll be like the last one coming through, but it doesn't end instantly. There'll still be some stuff on HBO unless they've done a deal, but I suspect it'll be on there for a while. Right, so I'm getting a bit more croaky, so I'm only going to do a couple more questions and then that'll be it. So Online says, what do you think about Disney, Hulu, and ESPN working together? Well, they are actually all owned by the same company, majority of them anyway. So Suna says, do you think Hulu won't exist after 20? It'll be after 24. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it becomes a fast service or just a live TV system. Dave says, oh, Donna's Kitchens was good. Donna Hay is amazing. I met her a few years ago. She was so nice. That's good. I'm looking forward to watching that one. Well, Disney marked the 1996. Was that the one with Tim Burton? I like that one. I remember going to cinema to see that one. CJ says, in the future, would love to see some more Warner Brothers and Disney working together. Yeah, I think it'd be good, but I don't really see who has it. Who has the rights to Spaceballs? I love that movie. I've seen that one so many times. So Spaceballs MGM. So it's MGM own that one. Is Avatar coming back to Disney Plus? I think it will do. I think they're probably just waiting to do a big flashy announcement with the new 4K high-res version that they had in the cinemas, because they had it in the cinemas, and they want people to watch it before Way of Water comes out. I wouldn't be at all surprised if it drops for Thanksgiving. Omar says, do you think Keeping Up with the Kardashians will come to the UK? No, because it's owned by a different network. So I don't see that one coming in. When should we see Hotel Transylvania on Disney Plus? Depends on the Sony deal. C-Tan says, have a safe Halloween. Chatters, take care if you're partying. Remember what happened in... Yeah, that was awful. Right. So Tracy says, when does the December list come out? So generally they tend to start coming out around about the 15th to the 20th of the month. So we probably won't be seeing them for at least another 2 to 3 weeks. Happy Trailer says, are we going to get a new National Treasure movie? There's been talk of them making a movie for a long time. I know there's been a lot of talk this week. Baba says, sorry for talking about Warner Brothers Discovery. Don't worry, it's not a problem. I enjoy Warner Brothers Discovery content, and have a happy birthday on Wednesday. That's always nice to see. Right. So Cena says, if possible, can they add fixtures later with the ads? Yeah, they can add more stuff in later, but I feel like the group play, there is going to be a limit. There is going to be a problem with that, with the ad tiers. Right. On that, I'm going to do this one because I definitely want to answer. So Happy Trader says, will Orville survive for one more season? I think it's done. I think that's why it moved to Disney Plus, because it's an overshow. I wish it isn't, because I love that series. It is such a good series. Right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this live Q&A. It's been really good speaking to everyone for the Halloween special one. Hope I've answered as many questions as I possibly can. Thank you so much. I'll be back next week with another Q&A. Again, it'll be back to being a members or a YouTube channel member, so you can become a member to do so. But thank you so much to everybody that's been in the live chat. So many of you know, Naxwave, Kyle, CJ, Dave, Caleb, Tracy, so many people. It's fantastic. I mean, we had over 120 plus people in here. But we'll have a fantastic, happy Halloween. Make sure you do some trick-or-treating, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters. I'm going to find the button. Tally ho.